Welcome back, everybody. In this video we are going to finally finish off our game. We're going to be adding a user interface and some way, somehow, a way that shows that you have won or beat the game, beat this single level. So we're going to do that first. Actually, we're going to show how on our level, once we get to this section up here, I want to hit what's called a trigger to tell the player, congratulations, you've won, way to go, good job. So how do we do that? Well, really easy. First thing, we're going to create the trigger. So what triggers are in game development is they actually use the same thing as colliders, but in a special way. So I'm just going to be going 2D object. I'm going to create a sprite in the hierarchy, and I'm just going to create a square. Any shape would do, but a square makes sense. And this is going to be my end game trigger is what I'm going to call it. And there it is, there's my box, and I'm just going to make the box a little bit bigger. Again, just using our different tools over here. So I have my box right about where I want it there. And then we're going to make a tweak to it. So on this box, you can see all we have is a transform and a sprite renderer. Right now, I could walk right through it with my character. So I'm going to add a box collider, 2D. And this box collider is wrapping around my this little box right now, and we can edit it if we wanted to, and we can see it easier by turning off the sprite render, and we don't actually want to see the sprite render at all. So I'm just going to turn that off. I could remove the component entirely, but it's really this box is what I need. So now I have this box collider, and if I were to run into it, I wouldn't be able to go through it. But in a lot of video games, we have things called triggers. So I'm just going to check this box right here. So make sure you hit this box, and now this collider has become a trigger. And when it's a trigger, I can enter it, and whatever happens, I control through code. So it can, the same way box colliders can detect collisions, box collider set as a trigger can detect when a player enters it or exits it or is inside of it. And so we want to detect when we enter this trigger and we want something to happen. So let's go into our script now that I have this. This is my end game trigger, and we're going to open it up. So here we are here in my script, and it's got all the stuff we've had before. I'll zoom out so you can see more of it. We have all of our opening variables, our floats, our rigid body, all of the references we need. And as we go down, we have our update. So this runs every frame, and our fixed update runs every physics step in our game. And then we have the respawn that we created in our last video, and the on collision enter. Now we're going to be doing something really similar to the on collision enter. We're going to be doing an on trigger enter 2D. So let's get right into it. First, we're going to be doing a private void on trigger, and you can see it right there. I'm going to go down, press tab. It's going to autofill the whole thing for me. So there's my method for on trigger enter. So anytime we enter a trigger, this code is going to fire. Now what we need to do is something called a tag check, because a video game can have thousands of triggers. How do we know what trigger we have entered? So we're going to be doing that by doing a tag check. I'll show you what that means. So we're going to set up an if statement in here. Similar to up here when we checked what layer we collided with, we're going to be checking what tag does this game object have. So we're going to reference what we collided with, which is called collision, up there, as we can see in the method. And the collision, we want to check, okay, on the game object of that collision, we want to do what's called a compare tag method. The compare tag is then going to check what did we hit. And we're just going to call this the win trigger, just like I've spelt it there, capital W, capital T. We're going to call it the win trigger. And when we enter this trigger, we're going to be setting up some curly braces to check, okay, oh, I'm just missing a bracket there. There we go. Some curly brackets, okay, or braces to contain the code of what we want to have happen in this trigger. So first, I'm going to show you something that I haven't shown you before, which is a debug.log. And then a debug.log allows you to print something like a word, like we're going to say win game. So we're going to put that in text. And what this is really good for is checking if this code actually runs when we hit the trigger. And it's going to print win game to the console. So let me show you how this works. Control S to save that. Let's go back into Unity. And let's see how this trigger works. And we're going to be having, and we'll have to set up the tag here as soon as things update on my endgame trigger. Just give it a second here. Here we go, finally, right now. Okay, endgame trigger. So here's my trigger, and you see up here we have layer, but this time we're going to use a tag. So we're going to need to create a new tag, and we're going to, what did we call it in our code? Let's just check to be safe. It's called win trigger. So I'm going to Control C to copy that, and then go back over to Unity here, and when I add this new trigger, I'm going to call it win trigger. Okay, we're going to save that one, and we're going to go back to the endgame trigger and call it the win trigger. So now it's called win trigger, and let's just quickly test it. And again, I'm going to use a quick hack to test this. I'm just going to move my player way over to that trigger to save time. So I'm going to move my player so I don't have to play my whole level and make you watch me do that again. I'm just going to put my player right there and press start. And it should auto run into the trigger. And let's see if this works, and it should say win. There it is down there. You see my mouse, win game, or press the console. It printed win game. So this has confirmed we've hit the trigger, and the if statement did confirm that we hit the correct trigger. Perfect. We're going to be putting some code in there shortly, because that's not very exciting if it just says win game. This is really just for game dev, debugging, and trying to fix errors and figure out what's going on with our code. So we're going to be adding some code shortly. Let's move into the UI portion of this. Okay, so to do the UI portion of this video, actually scratch that. I think what I'm going to do is probably pause this video. We're going to end this video here because we have created the trigger, we've created the win, be it, yes, it's only in the console, but we're going to be doing a lot more in the next UI video just to break this up. So this video is just going to be dedicated to creating a trigger, and we have activated it once we've ran into there. I'm just going to press undo to move my player back to the start. There it is now, and we're going to close the video off there. So now we have our win trigger ready to go. In the next video, we will go through what do we want to have happen using the user interface or the UI. We'll see you soon.